Hello everyone, welcome back for another episode of the Anime Podcast Show. For now, I'm taking the segments a little break. You'll see more of that in the beginning of the new year. Well, I want to take my time to do something. I'm thinking about, let's make a series on this. Where does anime come from? Why does it exist? In my mind and thinking is, why are these anime shows popular worldwide? So let's take a look at a long history of where anime had began. Anime has started in the beginning of early 20th century with early films in the 1900s, made kind of as a comic strip-like. During the eras between 1917 to 1959, no TV shows got made at that time. The only thing they made were short films. And during the 1940s, the first big anime company was made, and it was Toei Animation. They won't be popular until 4 decades later. The unique style of anime had begun in the 1960s. And the first big anime series had started was Astro Boy, and it started airing in New Year's Day of 1963 to New Year's Eve in the same year. So they aired the series for the entire year for over 193 episodes. But for the dub, it was only 104 episodes they dubbed. We'll talk about how did anime became popular in the United States in the future video. After Astro Boy came out, it was a highly influential series for future creators for manga and anime. Not much a big anime series came up after Astro Boy came out until 1967, and that was Speed Racer. But in Japan, they called it Mecha Go Go Go. They aired the series in April of 1967 to March of 1968. It was a huge hit, and it only aired for 52 episodes only. A month after Speed Racer ended their run, another big series was coming up at that time, and it's named Cyborg 009, and it aired on April to September of 1968, but only aired for 26 episodes, until decades to come for new seasons and new remakes for this particular classic. Now let's move to the 1970s, of where he comes to play hard to steal things. In the year of 1970s, former employees will be finding their own studios. Many young animators will be on board to work on these particular projects. And the most iconic series had begun airing in 1971, and that is Lupin The Third, Part 1. The series has ran for over 23 episodes before it got cancelled. The second series had begun airing in 1977 and made a more success than Part 1 did, for over 155 episodes. Between 77 to 80, Lupin made his first theatrical debut, and the film is called The Mystery of Mamo, or The Secret of Mamo. But I don't know if the film made it success during the time of Part 2 came out. I don't know if the movie made it success. I don't even know how much money they made in Japan at that time. But let's move on. So before we hit the 80s, in the year of 1979, a new series is named Mobile Suit Gundam, and it aired on April of 1979 to January 26th of 1980 for over 43 episodes, and it became a success. I don't know how Gundam became success. Well, I think how Gundam started, I think it started with when Star Wars was coming out at that time, but then they influenced from that film and made their own anime robot series. And after when Gundam came out, it got success in Japan, but I don't know how did it became success in the States. But like I said, we're gonna talk about that in the future video. But lastly, before I go, is I want to mention about this because it's the most important movie that came out in the same year when Gundam came out in 1979, and it was Hayao Miyazaki's debut as a director before he became the founder of Studio Ghibli. And the film is called Lupin the Third, The Castle of Cagliostro. It was the successful movie that came out at that time, and it became the most cultural phenomenon and influenced future directors for theatrical movies, and even for animators from the States and from Japan. It would lead to the 80s. I think I want to stop right there, because I got plenty more time to talk more about this stuff. On the next episode, I'll be talking about the 80s and the 90s started their own mainstream, and how did the US become popular for anime. So that's a wrap up for the Anime Podcast Show. Thanks for listening and watching the show, and see you in the next one. And stay safe and peace.